Hi. Do you wish you could have the same incredible feelings that you had during Top Gun Maverick seeing it for the first time in the cinema this summer? Well, too bad.
You are the absolute best in the world.
Just when you thought he might really be cooking here, Joseph Kosinski goes ahead and proves something that we already knew pretty well. He didn't need a full 2-hour, 20-minute film to tell us this, but as it turns out, race cars aren't as exciting as fighter jets, yeah. F1 is a sport and movie which you always want to be a little more exciting than it is. To be fair, as a sport, we're in a much better period than I feel like we've been for a long time, but that is only something I'm saying because I'm a McLaren fan. Anyway, so Brad Pitt is a 60-year-old man who gets brought in by Javier Bardem to try and win just one race. Just has to win one race before the end of the season. Otherwise, his team's going to get sold off and he's going to be in horrible debt or something, which... it's not like actually being broke because he's like a billionaire, but Anyway, so Brad Pitt drove in Formula 1 30 years ago. Now he's twice the age that you should be when driving in Formula 1. And he's still doing it and he's not that great at it. He incites disaster every race, comes in like a total cowboy, makes most people somehow like him, even though they probably should dislike him. And I just wanted to be clear that if you were an actual Formula 1 fan watching this season unfold, you would probably hate him. He's an old gunslinger that moseys into town at the request of his friend, the sheriff, who needs some help, gets himself a girl, mentors a young guy, who solves their problems, moseys on out of town at the end, despite making all these valuable connections with all these people. Doesn't matter. And it's just... I don't get why, because in doing that, they have made this film feel like it doesn't have anything resembling a modern sensibility. I mean, this guy is a gambling addict. He just floats around doing nothing with his life, is totally fine with the idea of just dying in the middle of a race, which by the end it really seems like, yeah, that is literally what he's going to do. He doesn't care about making any connections. He's got this like string of ex-wives and girlfriends, and yet women just keep going for him anyway, even though they know how shitty he is. And it just, everything about him is just like, ick a little bit. Like, it just seems like such a toxic, out of touch guy that you just wouldn't want to go anywhere near. He lives in a van. Like, there's just so much about him as a character that I'm just like, really? I know I'm sounding very dismissive of this film. I went into this with just huge expectations. Not necessarily that I thought it was going to be as good as Top Gun Maverick, but like close, right? And I mean, there's some great shots. The bit at the start where he's running in Le Mans and the car's like driving along with the fireworks going up. Some beautiful cinematic shots in here. And a lot of the filming from the perspective of the cars is great. But the problem is they actually filmed a lot of this during like Grand Prix weekends, during actual Formula 1 races, and it feels it. It feels like almost like documentary style footage, like they're just trying to grab some shots and flick through them quickly to make it look more real. And I don't know, that took me out of the world of the film almost, because I was like, oh yeah, that's during that actual Grand Prix that I watched. Like, I don't know. So there was that, but also just the characters. I feel like they're just such a mess. Pitt's particularly, because, I mean, he's just a quagmire of unsolved issues. And you assume, because it would be insane if he didn't, that he's going to solve or resolve some of these issues within the runtime of the film. Become better, settle down, something. No. Not even a little bit. There is not 1 ounce of character development for him in this film, and that just seemed insane to me. The rookie driver, Damson Idris, he had an actual kind of plot line going on there, some actual character development, and I guess it was Pitt helping him with that, and yet Pitt is such a mess himself and can't help himself and just doesn't. And I just don't get what they were trying to do in terms of like characters or relationships or development or anything here. A big swing and not a miss necessarily, but it's, I don't know, by the end, after he's had like his big crash in this film, in the third act, he's got blurry vision while trying to like drive an F1 car. And you're just looking at that going, like, really? Are we still supporting this kind of like toxic ass male behavior where it's like, I just gotta push through and die on the track, like probably take a bunch of people with me, like just the irresponsibility of it, like coming from a 60-year-old man. You're just like, dude, are you serious? Like, I just can't get behind him as a character, and that really lowers the film a lot for me, when you watch like Top Gun Maverick and you know that Tom Cruise is too old to be driving a fighter plane. They just do something extra to make it like a bit more believable, and In this, I don't know. It just feels like so silly. And it does make a little bit of a mockery of the sport, like trying to be like, oh, here's a way we could skid around the rules and get away with it. Hoo-hoo-hoo. And it's just constantly that. And I'm just like, oh, I would not be cheering for these people if I was like watching F1 and they were doing this. So I just feel really odd about it. But I'm giving Pit Stop, it was right there, 3.5 stars. And there was just so much about the trailers and the plot of this that I kind of tried to overlook a little bit because I wasn't actually sure about it, to try and keep this as like the hype high for it as one of the big summer movies. And honestly, I just really feel right now like I need Jurassic World or Superman to come through real strong for me. It's a blow.